Everybody, how's it going? Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV with another original series, episode 4 with Lou Caldarola, my host, my co-host. We are co-hosting this original Drum Talk TV series, conveniently and poignantly titled Under the Influence. After all, what else would you name a show with Lou and I hosting it, right, Lou? People are going to think we're smoking out the whole time or something. It's not what it is. Tell them what this show's about. What is Under the Influence?
So yeah, this was a great, out of a fun chat that we had, and about just sharing. There's so many great moments from drummers that influence all of us around, and there's so many people that we can draw from. We said, well, why don't we get something going here where we feature a couple of our favorite either drummers for an influence or drum parts that influenced us, and get a chance to chat about them, maybe break them down a little, feature some highlights of them. And here we are, episode 4 already.
Yeah, and you folks can participate in a few different ways. You can put a video of you in the link playing to one of your biggest influences or a video of them. You can also submit a video to be featured on our show. That link is in the description, as well as the brought to you by. I have to give a shout out to Earth Harvested Wellness, which is a brand newish CBD brand of really great products. And also by, I happen to have mine here, Metaflex therapy gloves. Great if you're older like me and have arthritis from going like this all your life, waving your fist at traffic. I'm just kidding. It's from playing probably and doing other things like gardening and building and stuff with my hands my whole life as a senior. These things are great. They're great for carpal tunnel. They're great for arthritis. So go ahead and check those face pages out. Not yet. Wait till after this show. But we want to also know where you're watching from. Lou, tell them where you are.
Yeah, today I'm in Bedford, New York. I'm usually from home at Brewster, but as you can see by Bedford Video Room 9, I am at my School of Rock here and taking a little time to influence some of the future drummers here, but breaking a little away to do some stuff here with you, which we enjoy. So awesome. The guys here provided me with a spot here in Bedford, New York to do episode 4 with you here from the School of Rock.
Great. And I'm somewhere no one's ever heard of unless they follow this show. And that's Globe, Arizona. And that's about 100 miles east of Phoenix up in the mountains. So let's jump into it. I'll check comments on and off. When I look over here, I'm not watching the Flintstones. I'm looking at your comments, folks. So go ahead, chime in, say hi, tell us where you're watching from. Steven Shinder, our associate producers in the background, pulling levers, twisting knobs, flipping switches, reading the dial. Steve, pop that comment in there that I sent to you and pin that. Lou, who's your first influence that we're going to feature?
So today, this one might be like, wait a minute, Lou, did you just pick from the wrong column? But a song that we all know, but maybe some folks didn't realize who actually laid down the drum track on it is going to some Paul McCartney and Wings with Jet. What a tasty song and tasty drum part. And it was actually played by Mr. McCartney. And some folks might think that, it was, either Denny or who was it, played on the tracks. Well, growing up, I thought that as well.
I thought that
and
too.
After doing a little more research, for the longest time I did. And I actually asked Denny that once. And he was like, on it. I asked him something about the track. And he said, honestly, I couldn't answer that properly. It's not me. I was like, oh, really? I didn't realize that. So that's how I learned it was actually Paul that played on that. And they did most. He did most of the bass line tracks. Bass, guitar, guitar, drums, stuff. A lot of all the backline stuff really. Yeah. And then they finished everything up at Abbey Road, and some of the other band members were involved on it. But that's Paul's drum track. So there was just his writing. It's just so much fun. One of the things, and especially here at the school, I recently directed a show where we did a lot of Beatles solo material from all the members. And just diving into Paul's stuff is always so fun. You always find these neat things he sneaks into the writing where we know his songs so well. You grew up with them, you hear them on the radio, and you just take them in as oh, these are, simple, fun pop songs. But then you break them down and there's always this cool, an odd time change or a weird amount of measures in a section that makes you go, wait a minute.
I was going to ask, what is it about this particular clip specifically you'd like people to watch for or listen for? Anything in particular with Paul's playing or the part?
I love the approach. Yeah, it's really that, like, I always loved it about this, and then it made sense to me after finding out it was Paul, how it seems to me that multi-instrumentalists where drums are their second or third instrument, they just have this slightly different mental approach to the drum part than a lot of us drummers do, which to me, a lot of times is a really interesting take on the part, like something that I might not have initially thought of myself if I was creating the part. And I've really enjoyed some, hearing Stevie Wonder, Prince, Paul McCartney, folks that, track on their songs and go, wow, what a great drum part. It's so not what I would have played. I love it. Yeah. And I think Jet here has a lot of that, where the placement, just some of the snare hits and a few little different transitions that are nothing too crazy out of the world, like blow your mind fancy, but just so, well, that's not what every drummer normally plays kind of stuff.
So let's cue it up. Check this out, folks. Turn it up. This is Lou playing Paul, playing Jet, if that makes sense. Check it out. Awesome. And first of all, that was great. I love the sound of the drums too. And I think we're actually live on my personal page. So you know what, folks, we're going to say goodbye and we're going to jump off and go over to Drum Talk TV. We'll see you in a moment. Oh, and we're back, part 2. Okay, folks. So the new interface for going live and determining what page you're on is, well, just a little fucked up. So I thought we were on my personal page for a few different reasons, and we were not. So I disconnected, and then Stephen texted me and said, no, we're on Drum Talk TV. I had already disconnected. We're back. Let's keep it moving. Dan and Lou here with you, here on Under the Influence, and it sure seems like it, doesn't it? I swear I'm not. I swear I am so clean right now. It's unbelievable. You can hear me squeak when I blink. So, Steve, I'll tell you that later. Steve, we're live. All right. So Lou, great job, folks. If you were watching us and you saw part 1, you saw Lou playing Paul McCartney, playing Jet, but Lou wasn't playing bass. He was playing drums because Paul McCartney played drums on Jet on the album. And I was saying, as I got discombobulated, the sound of the kit, your kit always sounds really good. And the playing too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great track. It really is.
Thanks. Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. And as I mentioned earlier, it's, there was nothing in that track that's like mind-bendingly flashy or crazy. It's just such tasteful drumming, neat placement of the snare hits and on some of the parts, a couple little doubles here and there. And I love how he doesn't always repeat things. I'm big on keeping it the same, but not quite. Yeah, I love that.
There's no looping phrases that are always constant, which is really cool. Maybe because you couldn't remember what he did the one before. I don't know. Who knows?
Again, under the influence,
Yeah.
appropriate show name.
So, okay, I'll get the show up as soon as I can, folks, and see your comments. Okay, so now my choice for today, we typically come up with two. I came up with one, and short on time, I won't say I cheated, but I copied Lou. Not the same song, but the same drummer. Oops, I'm giving away your second influence, but not the song. So I also chose Bill Bruford, and Steve pulled out an old video from maybe a year or two ago that I did on Dan's Almost Daily Vlog. So I extracted a bit of it. And this is a song I love. Unfortunately, the backing music is a bit back in the mix. Maybe that's good because you kind of hear what's going on the drums a little bit better in this case, because it's kind of a weird part. He's doing paradiddles, paradiddle diddles, double paradiddles, just kind of mixing it up. And here's how prepared I get. I start playing the song, and first you see me adjust the audio. Then you see me adjust the snare while I'm playing weird paradiddle beats. And you see, if you look up in the top left corner, my wife starts dancing in place to the music. She's working the camera switcher. Then I get discombobulated from that because I think she's hot. And I drop a stick. So here's Dan's circus version of a song by King Crimson called, it's from Discipline, but the song's called Thila Hun Jinheat. Oh, I couldn't get it. Thila Hun Jinheat. And I've seen a couple different descriptions of what this song is about, but the real description is it means heat in the city, a metaphor for crime, and the heat is like firearms. So that's basically what it's about. And it was based on kind of a tale of Adrian Belew, the singer guitar player, almost getting mugged. So that's the story, but the music is great. You've got Robert Fripp on guitar, of course, along with Adrian Belew. You've got the stick man, who in this case is playing the stick, Tony Levin, and of course, Bill Bruford on one of his amazing weird ass drum kits. So here's Dan Shinder, yours truly, playing Thila Hun Jinheat. We won't show the whole song, just enough for you to see the funny stuff. Turn it up, folks. Oh, switch the audio. Oh, snare's not quite right. There's Enja starting to dance in the corner, which throws me off, as you'll see. So that is some of Thila Hun Jinheat and me just sort of flopping around. I obviously have no shame. I'm very comfortable in my skin, but I love that piece of music. And I may have even forgotten to put the description in part 2. We'll put it in after we're done, folks. So yeah, I love that part because the drums are almost just sort of like, I think of it as a rolling mechanical machine that's just, I wasn't playing very precision like, but it's just this ostinato, other than a few hits and a change in the time there. It's this ostinato that goes on, and he's basically playing the same thing, but changing what part of the kit he's playing on. And I love that stuff where it's the same beat, but I'm going to move it over here. Now I'm playing the right hand part of the paradiddle on the tom-tom, now on this bell, now on the cowbell. I love that kind of stuff where you're doing the same thing, but mixing it around different parts of your kit, basically.
Yeah, his independence is always so amazing, and I'm excited with the season coming up here. Also at the school, we're doing classic prog, so there's a few selections from King Crimson, and yes, in the set list where Bill Bruford's stuff's going to be fun to work with some of my students on. We're doing some Crimson and Rush and ELP and
Great.
a couple other Genesis. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff this season with them as well. But yeah, great job on that, man. That's such a great. When you said that, because we got the surprise here. You didn't tell me ahead of time, so this was a surprise finding out. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite Crimson songs. I always love that song and that drum part. I love all aspects of Crimson. It's hard to not love the new lineup with 3 drummers up front. But I think the era that you're pulling from there is probably my favorite classic era of Crimson. I just enjoyed the chemistry between that lineup.
Yeah, me as well. Oh, in fact, by coincidence, I recently got this and read it, which is a great article with interview with Robert from King Crimson, talking about King Crimson, but really getting deep in the weeds with luthery and guitars. I'm really into that stuff, believe it or not. I've got some stringed instruments up on my shelf up there, 8-string mandolin, 10-string Brazilian guitar, and my late dad's 6-string classical guitar that he bought, I think, at 17 years old in 1957. It's a original Giannini from Brazil when they were still being made there. So I actually read a lot of guitar stuff. In fact, my son Steve and I just interviewed yesterday morning Steve Howe from some Flash in the Pan band called Yes and Asia.
Yeah.
And so fun
Great
stuff.
Great interview, by the way, guys. I was watching that. I didn't get to watch it live, but I caught it up. Like I jumped in as it was later on and caught some of it. So
awesome. Thanks. And one of the things Bill said was, I've been watching drummers for 60 years and I'm always watching to see where are they going to put the beat. And I wasn't sure how to take that. Does that mean Bill's weird playing? Does that mean Alan when he took over from Bill? Or does that mean now Jay Shellen getting comfortable and them playing together? Or does it just mean what it says? He's like, you never know what they're going to do, But it was a lot of fun. And your Bill Bruford example is one of my favorite songs. Why don't you go and take it away, explain, tell us what to look for, and then we'll play the clip. Yeah.
Yeah, so sticking with our Bruford theme, speaking of drummers who just come up with, really creative and tasteful parts too. Next I did beginning to long distance runaround from Yes. What a, classic Yes piece there. And it always, when I was younger and learning the real schooled side of music, it was always so strange listening to that, trying to figure out what the heck time is going on there, and then just really, and I even do that with a lot of the students here when they start working on a song like that. It's like, okay, can you tell me what time the song is in? And that's almost a trick question though, because the song's just in 4/4.
It sounds like it's in 1321.
Doesn't it? Right? And it's the song's in 4/4, but Bill, with his love to come up with these interesting placements, he plays 5/8 over the 4/4.
Yeah.
So you get that snare drum hit on every 5th beat. Yeah. And it was just an interesting pattern too, again, where it's like the whole less is more approach where, I do these tributes to Rush and Zappa, where it's like, I like to play lots of notes. And this was such a less is more approach, because really the verse is hi-hat and snare. It's just, it's just hi-hat and snare in 5/8. Nice and simple, but it creates that great tension over the music and makes you think it's in 1328 or what the heck's going on here? So that was my next piece for today.
And here we go with Lou Caldarola playing to the original type of version. Original type, I meant studio version versus live. Long distance run around. I love you cut it off just after that real brilliant part, the psh, boom, boom. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
dance
Zach.
music, right? You could dance to that.
Oh yeah, I always thought so,
Yeah, I
right?
was grooving to it. I love that. What's your favorite? If you had to, and you don't, but if you had to pick one favorite Yes song, whether it's Bill or Alan, or if you want to choose one of each, what would it be? Yeah, one of each. Give us one of each.
Okay, wow, that's tough. Even saying one of each. Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Hmm.
Within their narrow catalog, just think.
Yeah. All right. Here's a cheater's answer for my Bill Bruford answer. Close to the edge.
That's mine. That's
just the one song.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, just God, there's so many things to pick from both. But I guess if I had to narrow down a Bill, it would probably be Close to the Edge, and just because of certain segments of the song, though. I have a special place in my heart for Starship Trooper as well. I really, really love that song as well. Alan, wow. Oh, that's another. Oh, wow, that's a good one. Tempest Fugit really sticks out to me a lot. Wow, there's just so many.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one. It's almost like not even a fair question.
That's the first one that comes to mind a lot, though not necessarily the most intense of his parts. I just always loved the way the Tempest Fugit, the rocked along. It had my favorite elements of Yes to an extent, but a little bit of that more streamlined rock song sound too, which I appreciated. I prefer Yes on the proggy side, but I did really dig that song.
That's cool. I'll answer in backwards order. For Alan, I love the way he played Close to the Edge live, but I'll pick something he actually did the studio or live. For me, it's either Sound Chaser or The Revealing Science of God. So Sound Chaser from Relayer and The Revealing Science of God from the album before, Tales from Topographic Oceans. And for Bill Bruford, it's Close to the Edge and Close to the Edge. It's just such a masterpiece. We talked about that with Steve Howe last night, that they're finally playing it right for the first time since 1972 by fixing that key change that they instituted around 1973 because John couldn't hit this high note towards the climax at the end. They're actually doing it that way, and Steve said he hated it all these decades playing it with that weird. He used a funny example. So folks, go back and watch that. It's on the Yes Shift Facebook page, and it's on the Drum Talk TV page from yesterday. And both he and Bill had something to say about that song. And it truly is the prog benchmark. It set maybe the first real prog benchmark where, back then anything goes, anything went, and it did with that. And it's more than just the song. It's more than just the music. It's the story. It's the lyrics. It's also the way that album is produced. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but we're on the topic of Bill. Why not? The way that album is produced, no other album sonically sounds like that before or since. It's just a weird sound. Even Siberian Khatru, worlds apart, studio versus live. Live's more of a wide open sound, and it's so pristine and tight. With the studio version, it's really interesting to me, that whole recording, all three songs. So folks, if you're not into that or not familiar with it, look it up. If you're a musician, it's worth it. And that's why Lou and I do this. We want to share our influences and what we've gotten out of certain songs and certain artists, to open your mind to maybe checking out some different things, but also to hopefully prime the pump and get you to share in the comments and through the link that's in the description of the post to send some videos in of who's influenced you. And let's see you emulating, tough word for a drummer, who's been talking all day, your favorite influencers. Some of them are a certain song or an intro or a fill or a solo or a section or whatever. We want to include you in the show. So far it's been Lou and I. This is episode 4.2 because I disconnected 4.1 thinking we were on my personal page. What a yutz.
Yeah, thanks everybody for chiming in too. We love that you guys are checking this out because Dan and I have a blast doing this, and just getting to discuss drums and our favorite parts and all. So please feel free to join in, send in some stuff. We'd love to have it'd be great to have an episode, coming up where we get to feature a bunch of your guys' clips as well, instead of just us two.
Yeah, we absolutely want to feature other people. And I'm asking someone what country they're from because I don't recognize the flag. It's so tiny. I know it's an Arabic country, but I'm not sure if it's Arabia, Kuwait, or Iraq. They're all going to be mad which one it isn't. They're like, how could you think? I don't recognize your flag. I'm sorry. But someone is also watching from Malaysia. We have lots of fans out there. Met lots of people out there when we were there for 3 years in a row doing the Singapore Drum Fest, Singapore Drum Off, World Drum Off out of Singapore. And there were a lot of people from Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea. I don't think there was anyone there from North Korea. Was there? There was a guy there with a machine gun, but I think he was worked for the state at the airport. Yeah, that's what that was. And Jeannie Giangreco, am I pronouncing that right? Giangreco is tagging Johnny Ransom. Is that Sharon Ransom's? No, Sharon Ransom's husband's got a different first name. Great drummer, Sharon. Hi, Sharon. So yeah, tell us where you're watching from. We would love to include you with videos. Just checking to see if anybody else is here. Yeah, and that's all I got. I've got two. We're gonna do the show again next month, November 9th. And what time is it Eastern time? Do you remember?
That'll be 3 p.m. Eastern.
So that's noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain Time, 2 o'clock Central Time, and 3 Eastern. That's U.S. and Canada. And we'll have different influences, and I believe I'll have 2 videos, even if it's of the same influence. Just kidding. I'll have 2 separate artists. There's one, I won't want to spoil it, but there's one I've told you about that I just haven't found the right stuff to play to that works. So I should work on it and include him.
And I think I have an idea. I believe my 2 next time might be topic related. I think I'm going to go for 2 drum influences that are drum intros. So where it's just the unaccompanied drum intro, to start off some classic songs. Like what are some classic drums are all you hear first songs.
So I'll tell you what.
I think I'm going to go for that next time.
I'm going to do that too. Copying Lou again. See, I love that. Let's make it the intro episode.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we'll do a finale episode after that in December. Since it's the end of the year, the finale.
There you go, right?
You go. Yeah. But I think we should, we don't have to. No, we could surprise each other. Even if we do the same thing, that's okay. Because we'll probably have different takes. But I already have 5 in my head. I just got to narrow them down. One in my mind is really cool, but you could probably ask 20 people, drummers, and they'd say, I don't remember that or know that one. And it's actually by a famous drummer, but kind of a deep cut. I might do that just for that element. Yeah. And it's real short. In fact, it's 1 measure. It's 1 measure of 4.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm intrigued.
I might
do that. Yeah. Okay. We'll have to discuss that episode without spoiling it for each other, though. Yeah.
Right.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Zen, thank you so much. Chip Ritter, thank you from 2 hours and 4 minutes south of me in Tucson. I heard someone from the UK doing a show and they did say Tucson. I'm like, what? Tucson, Arizona? Great. If you didn't see the whole show, folks, rewind, watch the replay, and watch the post before this, which would be part 1. Stephen, please throw part 1 in that and part 2 in this when we're done. So sorry about that, the extra work. Now we got to figure out how to put these 2 on YouTube. And you know what? We'll just do it like that, part 1, part 2. There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody, so much for following what we do here on Drum Talk TV. This was brought to you by Earth Harvested Wellness Solutions, premium CBD products. Drum Talk TV fans always get 25% off. You can click through to their Facebook page, or there's a video pinned to the top of the Facebook page where ours, Drum Talk TV, we can click through, go right to that landing page, and it'll show you where you can redeem that. Get as much as you want for 25 off. And the MetaFlex Therapy Glove. Do you have hand issues by any chance, Lou?
My right is developing some, but fortunately, so far, so good.
It's because you're still a young whippersnapper. These are really cool. Great for robbing a bank. Doesn't leave prints behind. No, I'm kidding. The MetaFlex Therapy Glove, where you can adjust the tension differently for each finger, which works on hand strengthening, blood circulation, because it's a compression glove as well. Helps with carpal tunnel, arthritis. Great product. I'll get you one, Lou. Which hand, right, left? With knowing me, I'll send it right for your right hand.
My right.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Check it out, folks. They're running a crowdfunding campaign where you can get a discount, really great discount, if you make a contribution and help spread the word. Thanks, everyone. We will see you soon with more fun on Drum Talk TV. Thanks. Hang out, Lou.